Hey YouTube, I am back with another video, and this is my third time recording this video as well. So after some sleep, recharging the battery, and getting some more sunlight, I am back to film my September haul, get a snack or some tea or something because I know this is going to be a long video. So I had my birthday haul earlier in the month, and so these are some books that I accumulated. Some were just given to me, some I got from work, and some I paid for myself, and I'll let you know as I go through this haul. Alright, so my first book is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and it has this special cover because the MLK Library was celebrating Banned Books Week in DC, and they decided to put banned books in different spots. Well, I shouldn't just say spots, but different businesses in the DC area, and also kind of promoting their secret, not so secret party that was last week. I did not go, but I definitely took a book. If you see one of these books still out and about in the DC area, they are free. So if they have the cover on it, they are free. Just don't just pick up a random book that you know is banned and say, well, it's a banned book, it's free. But yeah, so just to clarify that. So yeah, when I found out it was free and I could take one home, I took one home, and I wanted to read One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest for a while now. All right, let's move on. My first book, which is you already saw in my September wrap-up, is This Is How You Lose Her by Junot Diaz. I got these with my store credits from work, so we can write mini reviews or host events, and we will get a certain amount of store credits for doing work kind of like off the clock. So it's another way for us to get free books at work. And I picked up this so I could read it with Mike. You can see my review, like my short review. We're going to do another review later on that book in my September wrap-up. And the next book I also have a story for. So we have like a chat room that we use at work if there are any issues. I usually work alone in the store, and I went into work one day and I saw a picture of this book in our chat room where my boss was asking if anybody wanted this book, and no one had said anything, and I was like, yes, of course I want it. So he sent it over to me, and it is You Can't Touch My Hair and Other Things I Still Have to Explain by Phoebe Robinson. You might know her from the podcast Two Dope Queens, which I've listened to in the past, and it's pretty good. So yeah, I'm really excited to read this, and the funny thing is, but I'm probably going to try and compare this book to like Solange's new song and album. So you know, she came out with A Seat at the Table, and she has a song called Don't Touch My Hair. I thought that was just like really cool. So I wonder if these two things will kind of mesh together and like increase like this literary experience, because music can be literary too, or you know, it's a part of like the humanities, art, whatever. So yeah, definitely excited for that, and Solange's new album. Just had to throw that in there. So my next book is also I think this is a Gayle. Yeah, this book was a Gayle as well, or ARC, whatever, advanced reader copy, Gayle, whatever you want to call it. And so was this next book, Homesick for Another World by Otessa Moshfegh. And I'm pretty sure I'm saying her last name wrong. But she's the author of Eileen, and that is up on the short list for the Man Booker Prize. And these are her collection. This is her collection of short stories that is coming out in January. So I'm going to try and do a review on this in January, obviously. So, I have not read Eileen yet. I've heard mixed reviews, but I am excited to read this. I've heard someone say that her like essays and short stories are better, so that will be coming soon. And this next book I'm really excited about because I found it on a whim. So we have a little like wooden library that says take a book, leave a book in my neighborhood. And I was literally driving to work and I passed the library and I found this gem in the library. It is Salvage the Bones by Jesmyn Ward. And if you've been watching my channel, you know I love Jesmyn Ward. This is her first novel, and this book happens to be a first edition. She ended up winning an award for this book, and you see it doesn't have anything on here that speaks of an award. And thanks to whoever got it for a Christmas gift. Hope they read it. There's a note in here. I hope they read the book, but I mean, why not pass and share the wealth? Like, I'm so happy I got this book. I was thinking about buying it this month and got it for free, so can't beat that. The next one I also bought in the spirit of Hispanic Heritage Month. Now, I'm not going to get to read it during the monthly celebration. So Hispanic Heritage Month is September 15th through October 15th. I'm not going to get a chance to read it, but it was great to have. The House of Spirits by Isabel Allende. Everyone suggests this book. They say it's great. Works and it has magical realism elements in it. And it's more of like on the like Latinx canon for important literature for Latinx people. So that being said, I need to get it and put it in my library. I want to read this soon. That might change, but I mean, the cover is beautiful. It's almost 500 pages, so hopefully I can get to it eventually. I have some kind of bookish goals I want to do in November and December, and this might not fall in either of those. I don't think this falls in either of those categories. So we'll see how soon I get to this. And I also got that with my bookstore credits. I don't want people to think I just have money to like kind of just constantly buy books, especially because of this channel, and to kind of encourage people to find other ways to buy books. Or not just buy books, but get their hands on books. So yes, working for a bookstore is a good idea, even if you can maybe work 1-2 days a week. I don't know about major bookstores, but I work for an independent one, and they really want us to read as well, not always at work, but they want us to keep reading, and I mean, they need us to read for our job. So if you've been thinking about that, I highly suggest it, even as like a part-time gig. If you're a student, it would be great. You can read, usually might have time to read for class or something. Yes. Okay, back to my haul. The next book I got with my store credit is Do Not Say We Have Nothing by Madeline Thien or Thine. I'm not exactly sure how you say her last name. And this is also shortlisted for the Man Booker Prize. It is about a Chinese family who is separated from their father while some protests and some government issues are going on in China. And it talks about like his struggle and the family struggle and how they're not exactly sure what's going on with the father in this family. I'm really excited to read this book. I've only heard good things about this book. This is also, I think, close to 500 pages too. So, and I think I'm going to get to this pretty soon. So, yeah, I'm excited to read this one. This next book I got from my friend Lawrence. Hey Lawrence, I hope you're watching. He might not be, but just in case. So he ended up scoring a ticket with one of his other friends to see Lovey Ajayi's book launch in DC, and she pretty much like talked about the book. Lovey is a black female blogger. Her blog is awesomelyllovey.com, and she had her book launch this month, and it was a sold-out event, he told me, and his friend ended up getting VIP tickets, which came with a free book that was signed, and he ended up giving me that free book. I had originally asked him if he could get a book signed for me, and of course it was 600 people. They did not, they ran out of books, and apparently, like, of course she didn't have time to sign 600 books in that sitting. So he was nice enough to give me his free book since he already had a copy. And that was really nice of him. So I really thank him for that. And I read it back in September, so you can see my wrap up and my short review on this book. I think if you like bloggers, or if you just want to support Lovey, you should definitely buy that book. And my next 3 books, and one I've already started reading, is the March series, book 1 through 3. It's a funny story with this one. So my aunt ended up buying me the box set of the trilogy, which came out September 6th for my birthday. She bought it on Amazon. However, I think on September 6th, it was actually sold out. She pre-ordered it, and she has yet to get like notification that they have sent the book. And so she ended up buying these for me because she's like, oh, I think you're going to read them soon. And I wasn't planning to read them soon. However, I ended up getting a second job where I think this might fit in to our plans very well. So I work for an after-school program now, and to prepare them for the Black History Museum, or the African American Museum, I should say. I think one of these books might be good for them to read. So I'm almost finished book 1. It's really short, and I like it so far. So if you're interested in John Lewis, or his story, or just knowing more about like the March on Selma and some more of the student activists back in the 60s, this book collection is the way to go. And so my next 3 books I ended up finding at a used bookstore. So I was really impatient, stuck in traffic one day coming from the doctor's office. I ended up buying myself a ticket to go see Angels in America for my birthday. So the first part is Millennium Approaches, which reminds me I need to buy a ticket for the second part. And I was sitting in traffic, really impatient, and all of a sudden I see this sign that says Friends of the Library, and I'm like, Friends of the... OMG, like that's a used bookstore. So I had already seen a bunch of people on YouTube who said they frequent used bookstores a lot, and I didn't know if there were any really in my area except this one other bookstore. And all of a sudden it seemed like the Friends of the Library just popped up out of nowhere. And so by the next week I went in there and I picked up these 3 books. They weren't anything I was necessarily looking for, but I had to get them, and I will explain to you why. So the first book I have is Fly Girl by Omar Tyree. I got this because, I mean, this is just a hood classic. Like, all the girls in middle school were reading this book. And no, it is not for middle schoolers. It is not middle grade. It's not a teenage book by any means. I didn't read it, but the fact that it just brought this like nostalgic feeling made me pick it up. Me and Mathis are going to read this in October, and it was $1.50. Like, I was like, yeah, I can take that. And I mean, I don't like mass market paperbacks. I think most people here on YouTube don't like mass market paperbacks. They're just ugly and chunky, and like the print is really small. And it just doesn't have to be that way. Like, I guess it's the best or the cheapest way to make books and put them in different spaces. But yeah, anywho, I was really happy to find that. My next book I found wasn't necessarily something I was going to pick up or hadn't been on my list, but I had seen it in my bookstore, and it is Under the Udo Latrese by Chinelo Okaparanta. And this book just recently came out in paperback, and so coming across it, I had seen it on the shelves many of times. I remember the title. I'm like, that seems like it might be by an African writer, and I was correct. So I think she is African, and the story is about two Nigerian girls who end up falling in love during, like right before Nigerian independence. So I'm excited to get to this. I don't think I'll be getting to it this month. I was hoping to be able to maybe host an event that's coming up with her. She's coming to Bus Boys, and with the Hurston Wright Foundation, they are giving her an award, and a couple other authors an award for writing this year, and she is one of them. Okay, so in my last book is a book that I was looking for. Oh, before I tell you that one, this book was $2 when it retails for $26. So yes, that is another reason why I picked it up. I mean, that's another way to like get books, you guys. Find used bookstores in your area. I mean, if it doesn't smell too bad or like look too rank, like I don't see a problem with used books. All right, next one. I was looking for this. It was not high on my priority list, but I found this for 50 cents. It is Golden Boy by Tara Sullivan. And this one talks about a albino boy in Tanzania who is seen as magical. So people think he has magical powers. And people in his town are trying to catch him. And that not only wreaks havoc on him, but his family. And that causes a whole bunch of drama. I picked this up during Diversathon. And I say that because that actually made me want to see who the author is, and her name is Tara Sullivan, and she's a white author. So that's important because people were talking about stories with owned voices. So this will be a diverse character, but it's not an owned voice. And her book has gotten good ratings. It has mostly a 4-star rating on Goodreads. So I wonder how well she does that. And I'm also going to be doing a video soon about owned voices and cultural appropriation in literature. Does it exist? That video is coming up soon, and I just think that's an interesting topic to talk about, and I think a lot of people have opinions on that issue, so I'm going to make a video on it. And to go back to the book, I got this because I want to compare it to Akata Witch, and that has a more positive spin on the kind of myth and stereotype about albino people in Africa. So yeah, we'll see how these two authors compare, talking about kind of like people with similar backgrounds. And my last book that I still didn't pay full price for it, but I did pay like my own money for this book, and it's a new one. It is Another Day in the Death of America. So I saw Jean Campbell do a review on this. Had to at least be a month or two ago. She is, I think she's a YouTuber out of the UK, and she talked about how the book made her cry, and it was really good. So the book is about November 10 people who ended up dying from some type of gun violence on November 23rd, 2013 in America. Gary Young is already an established like journalist, and he's written for a couple of papers and like news outlets online. So he is getting like I've heard good stuff about this book. And can we talk about like UK versus American book covers? Because the UK book cover for this book in particular is much better than this. Like, I understand it's about guns, but it's literally just a white background with some bullet holes in it. And I understand that it's like, yes, 10 bullet holes in here. And I get the premise of the book, but I think if you get a chance, look at the UK book cover. I think it's better. I'm excited to say that I am getting to host an event where he is coming to talk about his book this month. So this has now been placed on my October TBR, even though that video is already up. So I will be reading this in the month of October and by the middle of the month, because that is when the event happens. So yes, that is my book haul for this month. I'm going to be slowing down on like the purchasing of books, because even though it is October and Halloween is almost here, I'm already thinking about the holidays and how am I going to pay for everybody's gifts. So I'm going to try and slow down on that and on buying my own stuff and get through some books. So November is NaNoWriMo, where it's, you know, writing a novel in a month. I'm going to be participating in that, but I'm probably not going to write an actual novel during that month. I think I'm just going to try and write more. And I have some book goals for November. So in November, I want to read all the books that I own already, not buying anymore. Books that I own already that were released this year to kind of gear up for next year. And then in December, I want to read all the books that I have not finished this year. And I don't think that's as many as I think it is, but my 2016 file is getting bigger as I keep thinking about the books I own and like going through them. So yeah, let me know if you did a haul this month, if you bought any new books, if you're curious about the ones I am reading or have with me. So yeah, I think that's all I gotta say for now. I need to go get ready to go to work soon. You all have a great day, and thanks for watching my video. Bye.